You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your healthcare? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Generation Y Conservative Podcast. The MeToo campaign is heating up in Hollywood as more actors are targeted for their sexual abuse and harassment, and it looks like DC may be next on the list. Also, the Black Death makes a comeback because some people just can't leave their dead relatives alone and buried and insist on dancing with them. He hasn't heard the story at all yet, so we're going to surprise him on
keeping that one as a surprise.
Starbucks is catering to safe space patrons with a new coloring project. Also, a Texas joint gets in trouble for their door designs to designate men's and women's bathrooms. You're going to love this one. A favorite politician to make fun of is back in the headlines. Also, Planned Parenthood tweets out that black women should get an abortion rather than give birth because it's statistically better. And no, I'm not kidding about that. That is literally what they tweeted. Hillary Clinton is at the center of a former DNC chairwoman, Donna Brazil's new book detailing how Hillary controlled and abused the DNC as a personal piggy bank that left Bernie's fate written on the wall before the primaries even started. Clinton also makes an appearance on The Daily Show to talk about how her Russian ties aren't the same as Trump's. No, they're actually much worse. We also discussed the GOP tax plan with Trump and their proposal, the good, the bad, and the could-have-beens. So we'll get to all that and more. This is the Generation Y Conservative Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to the Generation Y Conservative Podcast. I'm glad you can join us tonight. If you're at home watching this on the live stream, it is Friday night, and I realize that the only possible way that you're probably watching is if you have kids and have no life like the rest of us. Yep. So you may be watching that. Also, there's other ways of tuning in and following along with everything that's going on. Obviously, if you're on Facebook right now watching the live stream, you could always head over to the Generation Y Conservative page, hit the like button, and then also go over and get notifications so that you know when we go live. You can actually tune right in on your phone and everything wherever you are when we do that. Also, another great way to watch the podcast is on YouTube. Just search for the Generation Y Conservative on there, and it'll pop up. You'll actually be able to see the HD versions of the podcast, including HD video and audio, edited with all the magnificence that comes along with it, graphics I add in, videos, and everything else. On that website is also other things like movie reviews. The last one up there is from a while ago. There hasn't been really any good movies since then.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a drought.
But tonight, Thor came out, so I'm looking forward to seeing that and doing a review on it. And also a couple other movies coming up by the end of the year. So keep updated on that. Hit subscribe on the YouTube channel, and also hit the bell to get notifications whenever we publish a video on there as well. Also, if you're watching right now, down at the bottom of the screen is my Twitter handle, which is @GenYConservative without the E on the end. You can always interact with me there, and that's certainly fun. You can always chat to me about some of the videos that we put up, or any topics that you want to discuss. Give us topics to discuss and subjects for the podcast. That would be awesome, too. Also, another way to listen to the podcast, the audio version, is actually on Sundays from 3 to 6 p.m., where KLRN Internet Radio actually re-airs the broadcast from 3 to 6 p.m. on their internet radio station. And they have also been gracious enough to put me onto their iTunes account. So if you listen to podcasts on iTunes and subscribe, you can also subscribe to the podcast over there. It's actually The Generation Y Conservative by KLRN Internet Radio. So you can find me over there as well. Of course, I'm joined again by Mike, who is always a pleasure to be with, and he comes out and actually makes the appointments with me.
Yeah. You know, almost every week, as it starts to get time to come out, I'm like, because of the drive. I'm about 45 minutes away, so I always hit that wall where I'm like, man, but, you know, I want to keep my word. At the last minute, that'd be awful. So I just, and once I'm like halfway here, then I'm like, all right, I'm excited. I'm coming. So, yeah.
So, you've heard of all the ways that you can follow us on social media. Also, every month we spotlight a new charity. And we just got finished last month spotlighting the Nazarene Fund, which is a great one. You can still look into it at the www.thenazarenefund.org. This month we're moving to something pretty cool, and I'm going to release more and more information on it as we go along. But this month's spotlight charity is an awesome one called Team Rubicon. So Team Rubicon is an international nonprofit disaster response organization that unites the skills and experiences of military veterans with first responders to rapidly deploy emergency response teams free of charge to communities affected by disasters. Team Rubicon currently maintains a roster of 65,000 plus volunteers able to deploy throughout the United States and the world. There's actually the website I'll give you is the United States website, but then there's also a global website that you can go to as well. Team Rubicon maintains complete record of volunteers, hours worked, and work orders so as to assist local, county, state, and tribal governments in applying for federal public assistance grants. Team Rubicon also focuses on serving vulnerable and at-risk populations affected by disaster. While the initial damage and trauma of natural disasters will impact any population, regardless of socioeconomic factors, the financial burden of recovery and rebuilding has dramatic and long-lasting repercussions on many rural and urban populations lacking proper insurance and public and private resources. All Team Rubicon services are provided free of charge. In 2016, 62% of all homes that Team Rubicon serviced did not have home insurance. An American Progress report noted that the most extreme weather events typically harmed counties with household incomes below the U.S. median annual income of $51,941. Wildfires, tornadoes, and severe thunderstorms devastated areas with households that earned on average 3% less than the U.S. median income. It is also easy to imagine the positive long-term impact that Team Rubicon's free assistance provided to these families. You can learn more about how you can donate or volunteer to this awesome organization by visiting www.teamrubiconusa.org, and I believe the other one is teamrubiconglobal.org. So
very cool.
Two really cool things. And I thought you were going to laugh because I actually said wildfires right.
Wildfires.
Wildfires. So we're going to jump into rehashing somewhat our topic last week, our main topic, which was the MeToo campaign.
Yep.
Because now it is snowballing like no one's business. Before we get into the main topic being Hollywood and who's getting hit there, have you heard that there's colleges around the U.S. now that are high schools, telling teen boys that they should be asking for consent during sex every 10 minutes?
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
That keeps it super intimate.
Yeah. Problem is they don't make it halfway to that 10-minute mark.
I know.
So
it's like 5 sessions.
Yes. I can't keep up. But I mean, seriously, can you imagine if you were to go past that time frame? I mean, obviously we can imagine.
Yeah.
But you go past and you're looking over at the clock. Hey, is it okay if we keep going?
You said a timer,
is this all right?
Like an egg timer. Ding! All right, time out.
I prefer the old cuckoo clock on the wall.
I guess though, when you're thinking about like, they're talking about high school kids or whatever. They're basically like reevaluating them. A few minutes in, if the girl's like, all right, I made a bad decision here. Let's just time out and stop.
Essentially, that's what's being said. Is there are multiple cases where they are saying now that rape can include consensual sex, and then if 3 days later she regrets it, that could be considered rape.
That's ridiculous. I thought you were going to say, like, partway through the sex, where it was consensual start, and then, like, partway into it, she was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Which is still ridiculous.
That's a 10-minute thing.
Yeah, it's still ridiculous, but it makes a little bit more sense. No.
Can I get you to, before I thrust?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Sorry. Sign here,
this consent
please, on
form.
this.
Oh my God!
I didn't mean to say that word. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, consent.
You looked
yeah,
like right into my eyes
consensually.
when you said it. I was like, wow.
It's a what we like to call power words.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting.
Oh man, I mean, it's rape culture. It will just be ruining sex now in general.
Well, it's not only that. It's like, how do you trust any? How do you build trust in a relationship at that point? You know, like you can't trust to be with anyone physically without the idea in the back of your head that, hey, she's saying yes now, but a couple days from now, if she changes her mind, then I'm done for.
Now, would this work in the other way around?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, come on, you should know that.
Yeah, I know.
So let's go into the whole MeToo campaign.
I mean, everyone does want to. No one ever wants to talk about the most widely raped population in the world.
Yeah, prison.
Male prisoners.
Yep.
Yeah. No one ever wants to talk about them.
No.
Yeah.
So, the wrecking ball is being felt most in Hollywood right now, where actors, directors, and every other rung on the ladder are seeing men come under fire for years of sexual abuse and harassment. The latest campaign seems to be directed at actor Kevin Spacey, who plays President Underwood on the wildly popular Netflix series House of Cards.
He becomes president? Spoilers. I mean, come on.
That's true. Well, I'm going to have another spoiler in here for you then, too. In an interview with BuzzFeed News, this guy, I forgot his name.
Anthony
Rapp, okay. Publicly alleged for the first time that he was befriended by Spacey in 1986 while they were both performing in Broadway shows. Around that time, Spacey invited Rapp to his apartment for a party, and at the end of the night, picked Rapp up, placed him on his bed, and climbed on top of him, making a sexual advance. According to public records, Spacey was 26 at the time, and Rapp was 14.
Yep.
So Kevin Spacey apologized for any inappropriate behavior and said that the allegations had encouraged him to address other things about my life, he said.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing to point out there, too, he said he didn't remember if these things happened, but if they did, he was sorry, and they were the result of a drunken stupor or whatever. To that, I would say the typical dude on a college campus that is being accused of rape can't say, I'm sorry, I was drunk as a defense. You know what I mean?
You bring up a great point that I wanted to bring up multiple times as we've been talking about all this stuff, and especially in regards to Harvey Weinstein. I don't know if I said this or not. Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, they're all being accused, and what's the first thing they do? They seek help, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, liberal people in Hollywood and politicians and stuff, when they get caught with the same thing that would put a Republican or conservative actor
or
in jail,
a normal citizen,
or
like
a normal citizen,
a non-celebrity or politician
in jail,
yeah,
it's okay for them to take a step back and say, "Well, I need therapy."
Yeah,
and as long as I go and get therapy, you
That's
guys shouldn't question
right.
what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and I shouldn't. Let's not talk about prison. I just need help.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's pretty ridiculous, and we're seeing a lot of that right now. So Kevin Spacey, I said he apologized for inappropriate behavior. And I said, of course, all of this was said looking directly into the camera with an inner monologue.
Yeah.
And if you watch House of Cards, you'll understand that. I know that there are other stories out there about me, and that some have been fueled by the fact that I have been so protective of my privacy, Spacey said in a statement posted to Twitter. As those closest to me know, in my life, I have had relationships with both men and women. I have loved and had romantic encounters with men throughout my life, and I choose now to live as a gay man. He also said, I want to deal with this honestly and openly, and that starts with examining my own behavior. Spacey also apologized to Rapp, stating that he does not remember lying on top of the young actor in his bedroom at the end of the party in his apartment. He said, I'm beyond horrified to hear this story. I honestly do not remember the encounter. It would have been 30 years ago, but if I did behave that then, as he describes, I owe him the sincerest apology for what would have been deeply inappropriate drunken behavior, and I am sorry for the feelings he describes having carried with him all these years.
Yeah.
I deeply regret. So he uses this, and this is what Hollywood's pissed off about, and the left.
Yeah.
He uses this opportunity
rightfully so.
to come out like being gay makes this excusable, essentially.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of a common ground thing too. If anyone would say this is not the time to come out, it's doing a couple of things. First off, it's linking homosexuality with pedophilia, which is something that most homosexual people don't want to happen, Secondly, it's almost kind of like he's like, all right, let's not think about this anymore. Let's think about this. Let's think about this thing. And the distraction. And also, I think it was Ben Shapiro that was saying he is now putting himself in the in a more favorable hierarchy of the social status of what's
protection,
victimhood, and things like that. Now I'm a gay guy, so now I'm not just a straight white guy, which is the last the last rung on the ladder of what's who can be a victim. So now I'm throwing myself in there, and it's like you
can't do it with a straight face. I do declare, Claire, that I do love those Georgia peaches. Oh, boy. Yeah. President Underwood.
Yep.
So Netflix, in regards to the House of Cards, announced on Monday, would be ending after its 6th season following disturbing allegations made against the lead star Kevin Spacey. But Variety confirmed Monday evening that a House of Cards spin-off would still be happening despite all the horrific news surrounding Spacey. Though Netflix hasn't revealed exactly what the new series will look like, the company has given out a few details, including the fact that the upcoming drama will remain in the same universe as the original fan favorite. One potential idea, Variety reports, would focus attention on Doug Stamper, the sly and ruthless political aide who helped carry out some of Frank's most nefarious plans, and would be written by Eli Roth. He could probably do a good job of that. But he would be very liberal.
Yeah, see, I never watched House of Cards.
No?
Nope.
It is one of the best series.
I hear it's great, and I was more encouraged to hear, like, you, my brother, my dad started watching it, so, okay, because I was thinking, okay, Hollywood's making a political show, it's just going to be totally, like, liberal and thing, and he's the Republican, he's the villain, or whatever.
He's a Democrat.
Or he's the Democrat, so that's what I was thinking, so I just never got into it. And plus, I watch way too many shows. It's really hard to get a new one in there.
Two things to point out. Number one, rumors are that the characters are loosely based on Bill and Hillary.
Oh, okay.
Right? Except Claire is actually likable.
Yeah.
And then, two, the producers and people that work on set, I think Robin Wright is actually the main producer of the show, who plays Claire Underwood.
Yeah, and I know she was married to Sean Penn for the longest time, and I was like, I don't even know, like, if I would even like this show,
Yeah, well, she said to someone or people that the research that they did into DC lifestyles and everything, they said that this is very close to what the kind of stuff that happens in DC. Like all the corruption, the manipulation,
which we're going to get to a little bit later in the podcast.
Manipulation via sex and drugs and rock and roll. The other one I was going for, blackmailing and stuff like that. There's murder in the show.
Yeah,
spoiler. But like, they don't say that is something that happens, but we all know Hillary has a list.
Yeah, for sure.
Just saying. So let's continue on here. So Doug Stamper could be one of the focuses of a spinoff. Eli Roth is obviously a horror director, mostly. Has he done anything? Did he do Inglourious Basterds?
He was in it.
He was in it.
He was the guy with the baseball bat.
He was the bear.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he did Cabin Fever, which is a favorite of mine.
Hostel. Didn't he do the Hostel movie?
I never saw Hostel.
I saw the first one, I think.
Yeah. So. The problem is, though, I'm pretty sure he's very outspokenly liberal. Now, the producers of this show had to win me over of not going the extreme liberal route of like demonizing Republicans. Like they demonize everyone in this show.
So it's equal opportunity demonization.
Well, and the lead characters are doing the most conniving things, and they're Democrats.
Yep.
So Eli's going to have to really convince me that he can sway away from his stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, one of the other ideas here would be that a lot of the fans on Twitter are actually requesting that Robin Wright, whose character is the wife of Spacey, Claire Underwood, continue as the show's lead character as president. Right? I won't spoil anything for you there.
If it's loosely based on Bill and Hillary, she's gotta have a
she had a shot.
Yeah, she had a shot, but can't quite seem to.
From there, I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
Oh man!
So wouldn't you know it? Stuff like this kind of brings the kooks out of the corners of the world. You know what I mean? And who other than Rosie O'Donnell to come out of the woodwork in times like these? She is actually calling out Kevin Spacey for allegedly having a rep as a predator in Hollywood akin to Harvey Weinstein, saying that everyone in Hollywood knew. And her tweet said, "You don't remember the incident 30 years ago? F you, Kevin. Like Harvey, we all knew about you. I hope more men come forward." Couple things about this tweet. Let's take it piece by piece. She said everyone knew. Okay? We'll get to that later, actually. I have more to say about that. But the last part there, I hope more men come forward. She, in a sense, she's hoping that there were more victims.
Yeah.
Essentially, right? I mean, is that wrong?
Yeah. I mean...
wouldn't the more appropriate thing to say is I hope there's more evidence out there?
Yeah.
From the one that happened?
Yeah.
I mean, the one that came forward. I hope there's more victims.
Well, I hate to do this, but to maybe kind of defend her a little bit. I think what she might have meant was,
don't defend her.
I know, God. You know what? I'm not gonna. Screw her.
Okay, so Rosie, let's see. I said this is coming from a woman whose own daughter ran away from her house because of psychological abuse that she said Rosie was putting against her. That she is half of a mom team, I guess, that treats the kid horrible.
Yeah.
So she ran away. And then on top of that, if Rosie and other people in Hollywood, we talked about this last week, if Rosie and other people in Hollywood knew about Spacey and Weinstein and kept silent for years, even if she says they were just rumors, you spotlight those rumors. You shine a light in the darkness on that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because she let decades go by, as well as other people in Hollywood, and allowed more victims to pile up.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad. So she comes out in this tweet like she's a freaking hero or something like that for calling him out. Oh, we always knew this stuff about you and you're such a liar and everything. Don't try to come off like a hero now when you had the opportunity for the past couple decades to call out this behavior and actually save people.
Yep.
Like a hero would. Anything else on that at all?
I mean, it's I'm just left to wonder what else is going to come out. Who else is going to be. I mean, there was just a story on Brett Ratner, the director of X-Men: The Last Stand, a bunch of other movies. Someone accused him of coming out in a robe, naked, doing whatever. And Olivia Munn, who used to date him, said the same kind of thing.
Did she have a masturbation incident in front of her?
Yes.
Like Harvey Weinstein type thing? That Brett Ratner did that?
Yeah.
What's with these superhero movie guys?
I don't know.
This making us comic book people look like real jerks.
Yeah.
I mean, because a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, one of the stories was about Joss Whedon's wife leaving him because of abuse and stuff.
Yeah.
Ben
Affleck grabbing boobs on TRL. Oh, Batman.
Yeah. Oh, man. I hope he wears a mask, too. With a dad mask. Yeah. I mean, it's... Unfortunately. So some of my favorite shows, number one, House of Cards, is up there on my list.
Yeah.
One of my other favorite Netflix series is The Ranch.
Yeah,
and who's the guy on that from the 70s show?
Oh,
besides Ashton Kutcher.
Masterson?
Yep, he's another big one that's getting accused.
Oh, really?
Right now.
Jesus.
Of violent rape.
Oh.
By multiple people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The worst kind.
It's like all these good Netflix shows are going downhill. Just stay away from Daredevil and those series, my word.
Yeah.
By the way, if you want to see something sad, go back and watch Stardust with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you know who the main character in it was?
I don't remember.
The guy?
No.
Daredevil.
Oh, it was? Oh, no way.
I was watching it because the kids were watching it, and I was like,
this guy looks familiar.
He looks really familiar. He has long hair in it, though, you know? And I'm like, wait a minute. So I looked it up. I was like, no way.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, boy. Okay, so here's your story. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Don't look at the script.
Okay, sorry.
I want you to be surprised by this. So Madagascans have been told to stop the traditional practice of... Here we go.
Get it out, man.
Famadina.
Famadihana.
Famadihana. Yeah. Okay. We'll go with that. Benihana.
Yep.
Yeah. Which sees locals dig up deceased relatives and dance with them before they are reburied because there has been a deadly outbreak of the pneumonic plague with a deadlier strain than the bubonic plague, which is also known as Black Death. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Question.
Answer.
Was it a silent disco by chance?
Did you watch it?
No.
Did you see any silent discos yet? Oh, no. I threw that into the video for you.
Yeah.
We put the headphones on Grandma, and she still doesn't have rhythm.
Just earbuds in.
It's a Madagascar.
The ear comes off.
It's a Madagascar version of Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Listen, I know it's hard finding a date for prom.
Yeah, apparently.
Let me tell you something. It's never gotten that bad here in the
According to people in Madagascar, you have no idea how hard it is.
I mean, if you take a look at these pictures, too, I mean, it's literally crowds, like, heaving up these dead bodies in, like, wrapped sheets and stuff. And, like, families all grabbing onto bodies and, like, dancing with, like laying them out and everyone holding, like, a piece and, like, dancing.
Holding a piece. How long, like, are we talking skeletons or still there's a body there, but just...
It looks like there's bodies there.
Yeah. I guess if it was just bones, you probably wouldn't be getting, like, plague. You need some flesh decomposing there for that, you know?
Don't really want to think about it too deeply.
I know, right? You're the one that brought it up.
Not that deep.
You made it a topic to discuss.
So it's feared that the ceremony has helped spread an outbreak of the pneumonic plague that has left more than 120 dead on the African island.
It's just more dancers.
More dancers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The dance floor keeps growing,
getting bigger,
but the movements are going down.
Yeah.
It kind of sheds a light on those dance-a-thons.
Yeah.
How long can you go? Well, now it's just a field, but technically,
listen, we need a cure.
Dancing.
We're fundraising for a cure for the bubonic plague.
So we're gonna
dance for 24 hours.
Oh my gosh. And
it's
you
like
thought making fun of vegans dying was bad.
It's like Penn State Thon for cancer. This is Madagascar Thon for Black Death fundraising.
Oh my gosh. So the tradition has been banned since the outbreak began, but it's feared ceremonies have taken place regardless. Some locals are openly dismissing the advice. When one said, I have participated in at least 15 Famadihana ceremonies, and I've never caught the plague.
I'm fine. Finger falls off.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This guy is just pushing his luck.
Yeah.
I'm 15 deep, guys.
It's all good.
It's always 16.
Yeah,
it's
number 16 is going to get you.
Sweet 16. No. Sweet 16, they undig their pets that were dead. Yeah. Oh, man. So the Sun revealed how warnings have been issued for 9 countries surrounding Madagascar amid fears the disease could spread via sea trade and flight routes. The medieval disease notoriously wiped out 1/3 of Europe's population in the 13th and 14th centuries in one of the most devastating pandemics in human history.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were dancing with them, though.
No. Wasn't it mostly transmitted through rodents and rats and stuff back then?
Yes.
So, yeah, that's just unbelievable. So now you got to go around to the countries around Madagascar and be like, do you know what the crazies over next door are doing? You guys got to be careful.
What? Are they dancing with dead people over there? Hell with that. We'll keep the water between us.
Yeah.
Stay over there.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. So as of November 1st, you can now color your own Starbucks holiday cup. Which...
Way to avoid the whole holiday cup controversy this year.
Yeah, it's been, exactly. So it'll be a mostly white Christmas cup for Starbucks this year, which is racist.
Yeah, totally.
The coffee chain's latest holiday design lets customers color it in themselves. A plainer red cup in 2015 spurred an outcry from critics, upset that it lacked snowflakes, reindeer, or specific symbols of Christmas.
The snowflakes will be in the store. Not on the cup.
Exactly. Yeah, like reindeer is the... First of all, anyone that's truly upset about Christmas not being represented, if they're really upset about reindeer and Santa and stuff like that, they're still upset for the wrong reasons on what's being represented for Christmas. Even President Donald Trump, who was a candidate at the time, suggested boycotting the chain. This year, the cups feature splashes of red and green amid illustrations of presents, snowflakes, being people. Mostly Waldo-looking people with berets, skinny jeans,
half-on beanies.
Yeah, just Apple laptops and Starbucks drinks right next to them and everything. Yeah, the beanies,
Perfectly groomed beards. Scarves.
I was going to say thick frame glasses, but that's what I have too. For the customers to personalize, Seattle-based Starbucks Corporation says that most of its U.S. stores will have colored pencils for people to borrow. You know what's hilarious? I'm picturing this: adults getting their coffee or latte or frap or whatever the heck they get, and excuse me. You forgot my colored pencils. Like, you know,
like
when
the kids, like when you go with the kids to the restaurant, they have little plastic with their two crayons.
In order for me and my wife to have a good conversation at a restaurant, I will take notice and say, excuse me, you forgot the crayons for them. For them, though.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So I said this is perfect for the liberal millennial liberals that hang out at Starbucks that need coloring books to calm them down when they don't feel safe. Now they could just go in and color on...
Relieve some stress by coloring.
You know what the next step is, right?
What's that?
The dry erase markers and them just putting up like a big whiteboard of illustrations for them to color in, like patterns and stuff.
Yeah.
Quote me on that. I bet you that's coming.
Arts and crafts day at Starbucks.
Oh my gosh! And if it wasn't in the works, they're going to take it now.
Yeah.
I know.
Steal your idea.
I know scientists are working on the volcano idea.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just gonna, and they're going to take it and they're going to claim it, and I'm going to say no. That was my great idea. Okay.
I have the video evidence.
It was great. It was a great idea. No other idea has come like it before.
Yeah.
So, you're going to love this one.
Yeah.
According to the Daily Wire, the Buzzfeed guys tested their testosterone levels, and the results are exactly what you would expect. They came back as estrogen? That was my guess. I don't know. In an experiment on male attractiveness where BuzzFeed fellas compete to see who's hottest, 4 males had their testosterone levels tested. The normal T-score for an adult male ranges from 270 to 1070 NGDL, whatever that is. It's whatever that hormone is or whatever. With men aged from 25 to 34 averaging out at 617. Not one BuzzFeed beta male met the 617 average. Rather, all the men tested below the level of a typical 85-year-old male, which the average for them is about 376.
Yeah.
Moreover, 3 of the 4 men tested below the average range, and the male with the highest testosterone level, whose name's Eugene, I don't know which one that is, still had a relatively low T-score with 363. So according to Elite Men's Guide, testosterone is what makes a man a man. The hormone indicates muscle mass, body frame, sex drive, aggression, and the amount of hair on your chest. Which for Portuguese and Italian guys,
not a problem.
You got to groom it. These are guys from a website that often... I said...
You just assume there's hair on your chest. We basically measure by hair on your back.
Yeah. I mean, real men like us, it's like when you go to the haircut stylist and they put that little towelette around your neck or whatever, and they're like, do you want a square or a circle in the back? And they go there and they're like, wait a minute, why am I down below your shoulder blade?
Where does your hairline end?
You're going to come all the way up around, I got to tell you. End up here. Yeah, just square it off right there. Right there. But I said, this website, BuzzFeed, is the website that always talks about toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And those same people that tell you to stop saying man up. Yeah, I mean, have you heard about that kind of stuff?
I will say, I've seen stuff from these 4 guys before. It's called the Try Guys, and they just try different things. And I'll say that their videos are rarely, I don't think I've ever seen them be political. It's just funny things of them trying stuff. It's more the ladies of BuzzFeed. When they put videos out, they're the ones that did the painting with period blood. Remember that? Just stuff like that.
Do I remember it?
Yeah, I can't forget it. It's scarred in my mind. Next thing you know, 5 years from now, you'll be able to paint your Starbucks cup with period blood.
Coming in 2019.
Merry Christmas.
They're also the website that talks about how boys should be more effeminate.
Yeah.
That, like, again, going towards toxic masculinity and everything.
Yeah. They're the ones that. What was the big story that they wrote about without any proof in regards to the campaign? The dossier, right? Aren't they the ones that posted about the dossier, about the Trump peace story and everything? They're the ones that released it because all the other...
I never even read that. I still don't know what it said.
Yeah, all the other news outlets, even by their low standards, were like, there isn't enough proof to write a story about this. It's pretty bad, Yeah, it was... They claimed that Trump on trips to Russia had met with prostitutes and preferred...
Oh, sure, but they won't cover the story of how many times Bill Clinton, has taken a private jet of the guy, I forget his name, that goes to his own private island where they have sex with minors.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Now, I will say this, I'm not going to go the BuzzFeed route and say that Bill Clinton has sex with the girls down there.
Yeah.
Or boys, whatever. I don't assume. But why the heck else would you be going to that island with this guy? You know what I mean? Sweet mansion, man. Hey, I'm just going to hang out here while you abuse little kids.
I just really like the beaches. That's all.
You know what? They should send, what's the group? OUR down there to that island to save those kids.
I don't know who that
is. The Soldiers. It's one of the charities.
Yeah.
They go around the world saving kids from child
trafficking
sex,
and stuff.
Trafficking. Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. They should go on a wildly popular weekend. You'll see Hollywood, politicians, and everyone will get rounded up. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And save the kids, too. This is the biggest part. All right. So... While we're dancing around the topic of the arena here, we may as well talk about a Texas restaurant that's under fire for offensive men's and women's bathroom doors, which feature before and after pictures of Caitlyn Jenner. Doty's Cajun Bar and Grill in Allen, Texas, revealed the doors in August. The men's room is labeled with a photo of Bruce Jenner at the 1976 Olympics, and the women's features Caitlyn Jenner's famous 2015 Vanity Fair cover image. So give me a second here, because I will bring it up for you. So here you go. Here's a picture of what is going on at that restaurant.
That's awesome.
Oh boy. So I'll leave that up for you while we go over the story. They were slammed as offensive, disgusting, and insensitive to trans people. Loyal customers said they thought it was a creative and hilarious joke. Airing their criticism on social media, some vowed to boycott the restaurant until it changed the doors. Among them was Jess Herbst, the transgender mayor of New Hope, a town about 12 miles away. She said, this is offensive to trans folks. Insightful. She tweeted after being made aware of the doors. The door by Caitlyn clearly says women. Okay?
Yeah.
So
really?
To me, and the one by Bruce says men. So in regards to the Caitlyn side, isn't identifying her as a woman exactly what the transgender community wants?
It would be offensive, although still biologically true, if the Caitlyn door also said men's room.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's just funny. Well, let's see why is everyone so uptight, man?
And speaking of funny,
that is giving, like, yes, they are recognizing her as a woman.
Yeah.
And saying this is the women's room.
Yeah.
And it's saying, hey, transgender, go to the bathroom you identify with.
Yeah.
These people are never satisfied.
Never.
Never. They'll always find something. Oh, my God.
And that's exactly what I said. If you can't take a joke that is actually funny and respectful at the same time, go figure.
Yeah.
You need to crawl back into your safe space for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Is that the next room that will appear at restaurants?
Safe
like
space
between
room.
between the men's room and the women's room, like a safe space room?
Yeah.
I can't take
it. Shielded.
Can't take it anymore. I got to go to the safe space. What are you doing in the safe space? Well, I need a safe space from you.
Oh, my God.
I'll tell you what. Oh, we're going to get to some good stuff here.
Yep.
So, have you seen the video making the rounds of this teacher that yelled? I know the one you're thinking of because he's commenting.
I watched both. You posted
did
them.
watch
Yes.
both. Okay.
Yeah.
So his teacher is yelling at a student who caught the teacher in his office watching porn.
Yeah.
Right? Wait until you see this video. This is insane.
Yep.
So take a look at it.
Next time you open your big stinking mouth, pal, I will write you up and send you to the office for coming into my room without permission. Is that clear? What I watch as an adult is my choice. You, as a child, wait in the hall until you're invited into my room. Is that clear? How many times have I made this clear to you now? Keep going. The fifth time, you get written up. I'm not putting up with this. And he tried to blackmail me. He said, oh, Mr. Yon, I'm going to get an A this quarter, or I am going to tell that you're watching inappropriate things on TV, and I saw it. So go ahead, tell. Isn't that what I told you to do? Now I'm telling you, you keep your big flap shut. Because I'm a grown-up who can watch whatever I want. And if you ever step foot into my room again without permission, it'll be the last time you step into my room. Is that clear?
Okay, let's break down a couple things here. Number one, a little bit more backstory on what's going on here. The kid, the reason why he busted in this time and got it on video is because he had busted in before unintentionally and caught the teacher watching porn. This time, he intentionally did it to catch him in the act again. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, let's break down what this teacher is saying in the most flamboyant way.
First off,
I don't know what kind of porn he's watching.
Yeah.
So that's number one. What I choose to watch on my own time.
You, mister.
Yeah.
If you
You
ever
such your
barge
flabbergaster.
Yeah.
So what he said, though, is what I choose to watch as an adult is my own business or something like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not going to disagree with the teacher on that. But what you watch and when you watch it has consequences.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
You don't get to watch porn in a school environment.
Man.
You don't get to watch porn in any work environment unless you're in the porn industry for crying out loud.
You're not supposed to watch porn at work. At school with children takes it to a whole other level.
To a whole other level.
Listen. First off, also, at what point will people not begin to realize that there is a 99.99% chance that there is a cell phone camera recording anything you're saying?
And you're going to continue to find that out on the next story, too.
What is wrong with people before they start yapping away, opening their flaps? Or whatever the hell he said.
I like that. You couldn't see the hip
opening
movement.
their flaps. Listen, mister.
But here's the other thing. He ends the video basically saying, if you step foot into my office again, it'll be the last time you step foot. I'm thinking to myself, no.
It's the last time he steps foot in his office.
Sorry, buddy. Listen. Not only that, if you saw in the video, too, he's actually talking about this in front of another teacher who looks kind of completely caught off guard. What the heck is going on?
Yeah. Oh, man. And basically, he should be so lucky. I guess the student was, trying to blackmail him for, a better grade or something. He should be so lucky that the kid would do that because the kid's basically saying, listen, okay,
I'm giving you a shot.
I'm either going to destroy your career, or you're going to give me an A, or I'll destroy your career. But no,
what the answer
ungrateful bastard is what he is.
What the answer should have been was, should I talk to any other teachers about putting your grade to an A?
Yeah, exactly.
No, listen, I don't condone blackmailing or anything.
Well, Johnny's really something. He's a real great student, isn't he? Isn't he, science teacher?
Well,
oh, man.
Well, look at you, smarty pants.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so as we move on here, we have another, going on the same topic, another teacher video. Now, I came across this video this morning, and I'm blown away. I am blown away. We're gonna get into a couple points on this.
It's awesome and infuriating at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. So the video I'm about to show you, I cut it down.
Yeah.
It's still about 6 minutes long, but it is worth every minute of us watching this cut up into pieces. Now, what I cut out doesn't shine a bad light on the student at all. I think he does fantastic all the way through. Mm-hmm. But it's repetitive in some parts, and I don't want to take up too much time on anything. So we're going to watch this, and then we're going to have another discussion on this as well. So let's take a look at this student who ends up schooling a teacher on some issues.
Conversation is not speaking fast so that a person can't interject. Because you already know your point, right?
I know.
So you have your opinion. You're clearly a radical, conservative type of person.
I'm not very radical. I'm centralist right. No. There are things I agree with liberals. I agree with liberals on things like weed. I agree with liberals on things like...
Right, but when you say things like we're sheep, weed and grass, so that...
Yeah, because you're perpetuating...
The narrative that you want to push is that we shouldn't talk about oppression.
No.
We have to talk about oppression.
I'm not...
If we don't, oppression will go...
That's not what I mean by that.
Sheep is to say that you're following on a path without thinking. That's actually not what people...
Because you're perpetuating the same thing the media says, how black people are oppressed, how this is just like slavery, how cops are roaming out in that there are right wing death squads gunning down people. No, there isn't. Most cop killings are justified. Most cop killings are justified. What's up?
You're absolutely wrong.
So FBI statistics are wrong then.
No, your statistics are skewed because it's all about where you get your information from.
The FBI.
So if the FBI, but that can also be FBI. You know how much cover-ups is in the FBI?
For sure.
What you're doing is perpetuating your own thought process. So you're always going to get information from establishments that are some sort of seated on white supremacy. That's what
Oh my God! Seriously? Seated on white supremacy?
Seated, right? Grounded in
Seated on white supremacy?
You are a byproduct of white supremacy.
White supremacy, right?
It's a real perpetuates domestic terrorism on people, and they don't even get.
Wait, so now you're just gonna blame an entire race of people?
I'm going to say
you're gonna blame an entire race?
I'm saying that they get to operate with impunity.
No, they don't. Cops kill more whites.
The guy who killed all of those people, the white old man who shot all of those people at that concert, right? He was not deemed a terrorist. He
was a gun runner.
There was nothing said about his beliefs. He was just a crazy old white man. You got one guy.
What do you mean? The media railed about.
Into a group of people downtown by Stuyvesant High School, and it's automatically a terrorist. This is a
that's because
issue with white supremacy.
Okay, that's because do you want to know why? Because ready?
Who believes in white
Ready? Okay. Oh wow, I totally believe in white supremacy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, ready? It's not a terrorist attack. Okay, it's not a terrorist attack. It's not a terrorist. It's not a terrorist attack when there's no political aim. A terrorist attack when you commit violence to further a political goal.
You are wrong.
When you
You're wrong.
when you
Terrorism does not have to have a political agenda.
That's literally the definition. Google the definition, Xavier. When you use violence to further a political aim, that is the definition of terrorism. That is the definition of terrorism.
You're dealing with a tainted definition.
Are you just going to do what the alt-right does? It's everyone else's fault. It's everyone else's fault. It's everyone else's fault. That's what the alt-right does.
Terrorism means you can be a white man
oh my God.
who is a terrorist. There is domestic.
Yes, obviously. No one denies that. No one denies that.
Because all of these
no one denies that. Yeah, but they have a political aim. The Vegas shooter had, as far as we know, no political aim. Terrorism. The unlawful use of violence. The unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. The Vegas shooter, as far as we know, unless something comes out, what do you mean you're not smarter than the dictionary?
Yes, I am. I bet you I am. Terrorism, yeah, you're dealing with a highly intelligent woman. Yes. Yes.
You're smarter than Merriam-Webster. You're smarter than Merriam-Webster dictionary. You're smarter than Merriam. Whoa.
That can be any way. Think about it.
Whoa. And by the way, the guy who mowed through, and by the way, the guy who ran over people in that truck he rented on Tuesday, that was terrorism because he had an ideological aim. He had a religious aim.
So did Dylan Reese when he came into that
no one said he wasn't.
in Mississippi and killed all of those.
Okay.
He had a political aim.
No one said he didn't.
Black people.
No one said he didn't.
Political aim. That's fluff. We can all say we have a political
no, if you.
Karina can have a political aim by being.
If a person randomly shoots up a store with zero political aim, known or mentioned, then it's not terrorism. It's just a shooting. It's just shooting. Sandy Hook was just a shooting.
Diminish, and this is the problem with people like you. When you diminish
I don't even know why you are
terrorism.
I don't even know why either. She thinks she's smarter than the dictionary. I literally told her the definition.
No, you gave
I told her the definition.
You gave a narrow definition.
What do you mean? I read it right offline. Right offline. You're not smarter than the dictionary. I'm sorry you think that, but you are not. You are not. You are not smarter than the dictionary.
So my point is this.
But the Vegas guy had zero political aim. There's no investigation.
If you think you're going to review that conservative jargon, you got another thing coming.
And you're just gonna keep perpetuating the same thing over again. All black people are oppressed. That all minorities are oppressed. That cops will go out in right-wing death squads and gun down blacks. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. The guy who killed Fernando Castillo was being investigated. Wasn't he actually fired? He was fired. He was fired.
That black and brown people are not killed with impunity in this country.
I can say that, yeah.
Then you are misguided, right? You are perpetuating white supremacy.
Wait, so it's either you agree with us or
that says you can kill us.
Wait, so it's either you agree with us or you're a white supremacist and therefore you're a disgrace to your race? I wonder what other kind of people say you're a disgrace to your race. I really wonder.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
If you perpetuate white supremacy, that means you're a disgrace to your race, right? You're saying that if I don't agree with the left-wing narrative that all black people are living in fucking Nazi Germany, that therefore I'm a disgrace.
I don't think anyone has ever challenged you, but that won't.
Plenty of people have challenged me. I've debated people on the right, and I've debated people on the left. I've met genuine neo-Nazis. Like shit.
But you gotta know what the words actually mean behind the definition, and that's why I'm gonna stop it. We can have this conversation.
First of all, like I said on Facebook, I want to adopt this kid.
Yeah. And like I said on Facebook, he already has great parents.
Yeah. So number one, we got to jump all over the place. I should have been taking notes, on what I want to talk about. One of the last things that he said, that she said to him, was obviously you have never been challenged. No, this kid has had his mettle tested.
Yeah.
And that's why he is able to stand up against her. Now, I used to have a list of signs and things to look out for when arguing with a liberal when they're losing the debate.
Yeah.
Number one thing, they cut you off and they do not let you talk.
Yeah.
They talk over you. Mm-hmm. He was not allowed to get a word in edgewise on this one. And of course,
especially as it got more and more towards the end.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, obviously the big one on this one is her outright claiming that she's more intelligent than the dictionary. You are dealing with a very educated woman.
Yeah. I bet you I am.
Yeah.
I bet you I am. But you're gambling on that?
Yeah. Let's test that a little bit here. But yeah, absolutely. And not only that, the sad part is that there's students in the classroom that are sticking up for the teacher.
Yeah.
Like why are you arguing with the teacher?
That's
the one
not
kid
surprising.
You could say in the background.
Yeah, I mean, one part you left out that I thought was really good from his end, when she is basically saying he's citing the FBI statistics of how more white people are killed by cops.
I left it out because that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, but
really.
one thing he rebutted to her was she was like, well, you know how the FBI can lie and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, if the FBI was going to lie, wouldn't they say that more black people were killed so that you can push your narrative that you want to push? Why would they say that more white people are killed? Oh, man. It's pretty good.
There's so many things in there that one of the biggest things, and this is often something that's said by liberals and those on the left, is, well, you're just saying that because of the sources that you get your information from. It's automatically, you're full of crap because you listen to Fox News.
Yeah, when she isn't realizing that the same exact thing applies to her.
Yeah, on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's exactly what my point was going to be, is your sources of information are going to be skewed. But it takes an intelligent person, which I'm sure this kid is, that can look at both sides of the equation, know what the other person is arguing, and why they're arguing it, know what you believe and why you're arguing it, and can intelligently debate those two sides of the equation to go in favor of your opinion in the end.
Yeah. The hypocrisy on her end, as far as everything she was saying, she's guilty of.
Yeah. And she was
like Hillary with Russia.
But this kid he blows me away. Loosely going around this topic here and everything. I've always thought, since getting out of school, man, I wish I had looked into things more and could intelligently debate a teacher respectfully. In school, if they were giving a politically biased opinion, which at the time, not being politically aware, I don't remember anyone being political, because I basically was a sponge at the time, which is what they're depending on.
Yeah.
Is you to soak up their narrative on what they're saying. I'll tell you what, like, this kid is on top of his game. Even it doesn't matter if he was spouting a liberal opinion. If he was doing it respectfully and intelligently and using statistics and facts on that side, I would respect the crap.
Liberals don't like statistics and facts.
No, they don't.
Not at all.
Actually,
that's one thing I notice all the time when you see Ben Shapiro debate someone. Or Ted Cruz, you know, and he's kind of criticized, he's always got his graphs and his arms. But listen, that's the facts. What do you want? They don't do well with facts and numbers.
I'm going to show this graph over here. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's.
I don't have crap.
Yeah.
So along with this, actually, you know, I hope that my kids are this way. Mm-hmm. I want to raise my kids that way. And actually, one thing that was said recently on one of the programs I listened to is, listen, if you want your kids to be, and they didn't talk about this, but if you want your kids to be this smart, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you need to be teaching them the opposing view and why that view is believed. Because here's what's going to happen. When your kid enters a school system, whether it's college or high school or middle school, and they're taught the opposing opinion by the teacher, and they see that teacher as an authoritative figure in their life, that's supposedly teaching them things that they're supposed to know, and they take that as fact, then you start to have conflicting morals against what you taught at home, right? So if you're able to teach what they're going to teach, and give the reasons, and then give the reasons why that's wrong, you end up with kids like this. You know? And someone on one of the articles I read pointed out that he's Latino. I can't tell.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he's apparently a white supremacist regardless of whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And he even said that. So you're telling me that if someone disagrees with the leftist agenda, that they're a white supremacist. It's just like, yeah, that's right. He absolutely schooled her because she wouldn't shut her flabber. Shut her flabber.
Oh, God.
So, oh, boy, I'll tell you what. It's just insane. By the way, Josh must have tuned in for a little bit there, at least.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now that we're done with all that kind of stuff, we can actually get into the politics of things. So... A congressman is saying it's quite possible that a special election was stolen from a Democrat. A Georgia Democratic congressman suggested one of his colleagues may not have been legitimately elected, saying it was quite possible a special congressional election was stolen and given to the Republican candidate back in June. Our favorite, Representative Hank Johnson, a Democrat of Georgia, questioned whether Representative Karen Handel, Republican of Georgia...
Sexist.
What a jerk. Really defeated Democrat John Ossoff.
Double sexist.
Who, if you remember, worked his ass off to get where he was, and he still lost. In a closely watched congressional special election in June, there are lingering questions about the security of Georgia's election systems after a server hosting voter information was wiped clean amid a lawsuit over Georgia's election systems. Now, let me just read this right here. I think it's quite possible that John Ossoff won that election and the election was stolen from him. That's my suspicion, Johnson told WXIA on Monday. Handel defeated Ossoff by just over 9,200 votes in the June contest that was closely watched nationally because of Ossoff's unexpected strength in the race. Now, here's what I wanted to read to you. Candace Brose, a spokeswoman for Secretary of State Brian Kemp, who is in charge with overseeing the state's election systems, dismissed Johnson's claim, saying, "There is zero evidence that Georgia's voting equipment has ever been manipulated. We stand by the results. His assertions are ridiculous." And she wrote that in an email. Now, it's interesting. It's interesting because it is interesting that you would wipe voter information. Got him. Nice. That you would wipe voter information clear after an election. That does seem a little shady, right? Mm-hmm. But apparently that's standard for that's standard for what they do in these elections. Is after it's done and the votes are counted and everything, they wipe it clear because
they only have a certain amount of gigabytes on their computer.
Yeah. That flash drive, megabytes. I've got 25 megabytes on this thing. How am I going to...
No expandable storage.
This floppy disk only holds so much, for crying out loud. So...
We're politicians. We definitely don't want to store anything in the cloud.
Yeah, seriously. I said, of course, we have to take a look at what Hank says with a grain of salt, because this is the same guy who said one of our favorite political videos of all time.
Have the exact dimensions, but to your point, sir, I think Guam is a small island.
Very small island, and about 24 miles, if I recall, long. So 24 miles long, about 7 miles wide at the least widest place on the island, and about 12 miles wide on the widest part of the island. And I don't know how many square miles that is. Do you happen to know?
I don't have that figure with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that.
Capsize. The whole island will capsize.
After so much detail on the dimensions of this island, the Admiral's probably thinking, this guy might be going into something smart here. Yeah. He's going somewhere with this. Okay, he needs to leave. This guy's an idiot. So maybe Hank Johnson's main concern is that if we hold a re-election, in this case, that so many voters would turn up into the polling places that the weight of the voters in those polling places might break up the state of Georgia, and it would float out into the ocean, and these pieces would capsize.
Oh, God.
Oh, Hank Johnson. He's good for a laugh no matter what.
How did some of these people get elected? I mean, you look at him, you look at the lady in Florida with the crazy cowboy hats.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You know one thing we never talked about with her?
Yeah.
And that whole story? That one, I never heard, as into politics as I am, never heard of her before in my life. She got her 15 minutes.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
What she was doing, for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Plus, she was culturally appropriating Mexican heritage with that cowboy hat. I just got to say that.
Yeah. And, you know, the one thing I remember someone asking her, like, it was like oh man, what did she say exactly? It was
it was all in regards to the funeral of the soldiers.
Yeah. And so if you overhear a conversation between the president and a widow, first off, how are you even in that position to begin with? Secondly, if someone asks you about it, do you just blab the whole thing? You would say, a reasonable person would say, that was between a widow and the president, and that's a private conversation. I'm not at liberty to discuss.
Yeah. If you want to hear it, you ask her, and if she wants to say it, then
that's fine. But no. She just like blah, 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 gossip queen.
Yeah, it was because she has a political agenda against the president.
Sure.
That was the most
Oh, my God.
thing
And
ever.
then when she called Kelly racist for calling her an empty barrel, well, that's a racist term. Like, really?
You know that was Socrates, I believe?
That racist Socrates. I look at all those Greek statues and they're all white. So everything they said must be racist. Those are the whitest statues you will ever see over there in Greece.
My kid has a better cowboy hat from a costume she has than the cowboy hat she wears.
Every color, she looks like the Macho Man.
Let me tell you something about that presidential conversation.
Listen here. If we're going to talk about who's a racist, then it's definitely Donald Trump. Yeah. Dig it.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, God. Every color, all glitter, and this is like...
Yeah, it's bad.
How are these people getting elected? They should all just go out into an island and capsize it.
Got to capsize it. So when I was going through the articles,
do a video of that lady just as Macho Man, but that lady
play around with some voice modulation on it.
Oh my God.
This week I was going around through some articles from multiple different sources and stuff. I came across one from the Daily Wire where they were talking about Planned Parenthood, right? And did you happen to read the story and the tweet and everything?
I saw the tweet. Yeah.
So their headline...
They're going back to their roots.
Exactly.
Margaret Sanger is super happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's glowing.
She's glowing in hell.
Looking up. And by glowing, I mean brimstone. I mean the brimstone. So, yeah, the headline basically, what was the headline? Planned Parenthood encourages black women in America to choose abortion over pregnancy. I saw that, and I'm a big opponent of clickbait, right? Mm-hmm. But I was curious.
They got you.
They got me to click. You got me. You got me. But the bait was good. It was there, okay? On Tuesday, the Planned Parenthood Black Community account tweeted out this. This is literally word for word what it said. If you're a black woman in America, it's statistically safer to have an abortion than to carry a pregnancy to term or give birth. Hashtag scary stats. Now, I got into a little argument back and forth with a liberal fan on the page and everything, who I respect the heck out of. She's awesome, and I'm not putting her on the spot here. But I don't see any other way to read that than it is better to have an abortion because you're more likely to live through an abortion than to carry the baby to term and give birth to it because you're more likely to die from giving birth than having an abortion. I don't know how else to read that.
Even if they're throwing in that hashtag scary stat to kind of say like, oh, this is a pretty sad situation that this is the case, but it's still saying this is the case and it'd probably be better if you had an abortion.
You know what George Bush is saying? Hashtag fearmonger.
Fearmonger.
Fearmongerism.
Fearmongeration. Fearmongeration.
Got to take it in moderation. So the
Daily Mongeration in moderation.
Yeah. The Daily Wire notes that what they are trying to say is that giving birth to a baby might kill you, so go ahead and kill it preemptively. Abortion advocates say that abortion is less likely to kill you than going through pregnancy and childbirth. These statistics are dicey at best, and the Centers for Disease Control has stated that such statistics aren't actually comparable because we measure deaths per live birth, not deaths per pregnancy not terminated via abortion. Furthermore, those statistics don't take into account other damage via abortion from physical to psychological, which we've actually talked about in the past. Mm-hmm. How many people I personally know that have gone from the extreme of being pro-choice to being pro-life because of the psychological effects they had after having an abortion themselves.
Yep.
The mortality rate among women who delivered live neonates was 8.8 deaths per 100,000 live births from 1998 to 2005 in the United States. The mortality rate among women who induced abortion was 0.6 deaths per 100,000. Dr. Ann Davis, a scholar of
I know it's obstetrician.
Yeah, she's an obstetrician, and gynecology at the Columbia University Medical Center in New York stated, we wouldn't tell people don't have a baby because it's safer to have an abortion. That's ridiculous. Hashtag ridiculous.
How about this? If you're really worried about any of this, don't get pregnant to begin with. You know?
Yeah, but that's not possible. Yeah. Because how do you go without having sex?
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally, is that not the discussion when you're talking about the choice, being pro-choice, the choice being whether or not to have sex, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, you crazy person.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I should be able to have sex without consequence.
Yeah.
Okay? Or repercussions or anything.
You can also find ways to have sex without getting pregnant as well.
Yeah, look at these Hollywood guys. They're just masturbating to plants.
Yeah.
In front of someone. My word.
No one's saying not
you
to
weren't thinking that?
No one's saying not
That's
to have
not
sex.
Where
we're just telling you to think about where you finish.
By the way, did you hear the story about the donkey?
No. What a segue. What a segue.
I don't even have this in the notes. Some Hispanic country, I believe. I shouldn't even say that because I don't know for sure, but I believe it is, right? Mm-hmm. A group of teens raped a donkey and had to seek medical treatment for a couple days in a hospital because the donkey was infected with rabies.
Natural selection.
And they were infected with a disease, obviously, right? And the bad part is they killed the donkey. Like it's a donkey stamp. Talk about victim shaming.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Victim shaming.
This donkey's like, these teens just raped me. Oh, you're going to take care of it?
Gang raped
Whoa. What the heck is going on?
Gang raped the donkey.
And apparently they were asking a lot of these teens to come forward so that they could seek treatment, but the parents took them to outside hospitals outside the area so that they wouldn't be shamed.
It's too bad the donkey didn't live in California, then it wouldn't have to disclose that it had rabies.
Yeah. It actually... Unfortunately, the donkey was killed before it was rumored. It was rumored that it was writing a book called What Happened.
Why was it killed anyway?
Which is very
donkey.
parallel to the story.
Yeah. Why was it killed anyway? Listen, donkey, you're too sexy.
Yeah.
too no one can control themselves.
That's not even a untrue story. That actually happened.
Oh my God.
Man. So we actually, so a recent study shows that about 45% of millennials would rather live under socialism than capitalism. Did you hear about this report?
Before we move on, we do it just. I mean, I joked
Are we going back
about
to the donkey?
No, not the donkey.
Okay.
The tweet from Planned Parenthood.
Yes,
I joked about it at the beginning. They're going back to their roots, but if anyone doesn't know, their roots is Margaret Sanger originally started Planned Parenthood to basically eradicate the black population.
Not only the black population, that was the main priority.
But
she also wanted to get rid of the mentally handicapped.
Yep.
And the feeble or those that were handicapped.
She was basically like Hitler.
Yes.
She was trying to create a master race,
now
through abortion.
She was shut down by America and the government or whatever it is here that shut her down from pursuing those types of goals, right? So what she ended up doing was she traveled over to Germany before World War II. And worked with Nazis and told them they got their ideas, a lot of their ideas from Margaret Sanger. A lot of people don't realize that.
That's insane.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so a lot of what they learned from Margaret Sanger, whereas a lot of people think, well, because of her travels over there and everything, she learned stuff from them. It's actually the opposite. And she brought it back, and what she brought back was the idea of perpetuating this idea that instead of doing her goals, which were still her goals, that she would do it under the guise of women's health.
Yeah.
And then it was allowed.
Yeah.
So to this day, you see the majority of Planned Parenthood facilities set up in urban areas.
Yeah.
Right? Now, whether that's today's goal or not, it doesn't matter. That's where it happens most prevalent, obviously. But
this tweet directly to black women, it doesn't get any more direct than that.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, Antifa, if you want to punch a Nazi, just walk into a Planned Parenthood, go into any administrator's office, got a poster of Margaret Sanger hanging up, and punch them in the face.
By the way, my wife said to me this week that my laugh sounds like Count Dracula from Sesame Street. So I'm notorious for dad jokes, right? I do dad jokes all the time.
Oh my God, Tracy is telling me my dad jokes are getting out of control.
Mine are horrible.
On purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
Totally on purpose.
So I literally go, right after she says that,
oh my God,
I cracked a dad joke and I go, one bad joke.
Nice. Oh my God. That's double there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I just did one today. Every time I do a dad joke, I just look at Tracy. I'm like,
yeah, you look for the confirmation too. Like, come on, it was a good dad joke.
It was a dad joke. And she's like, the dad jokes are getting out of hand.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God.
They're great though.
It's making me spit up my water all over.
I look straight at my kids' faces and tell the dad jokes and wait for them to laugh too. But I usually end up being the first one, and it's by microseconds that I laugh right away. Yeah. So anyway, a recent study shows that 45% of millennials would rather live under socialism than capitalism. And of those millennials, so we're talking almost half at this point, right?
Yeah.
There were more statistics actually showing a breakdown by the age ranges, like the Great Generation. I think, what was it? It was like in the 70s. Like 79% would rather live under capitalism. Mm-hmm. The baby boomers, it was like 69%. Under capitalism. Mm-hmm. Gen X was about 55% living under capitalism. Then we go to millennials, 45% would rather live under socialism. Okay? What do you think the generation after millennials is?
No. I don't know. I mean, they're going to be like practically majority want to live under socialism.
In the upper 60s.
Jesus.
Want to live under capitalism.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
The swing is going to happen. Yep.
The swing
We've
is
talked
coming
about that
back.
before. I didn't think of it.
And one of the explanations for that was explained yesterday or today is this is the generation that's being brought up by the Tea Party. Mm-hmm. That we actually have kids like the one that we showed in that school environment that are able to intelligently debate and spotlight the ridiculousness of liberals in educational environments and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. Now, so in regards to this, though, back to this, 45% of millennials say that they would rather live under socialism than capitalism. Of that 45%, how many do you think actually know what socialism is?
Like maybe one. Am I giving them too much credit?
No, you're not giving them enough credit.
Oh.
But 16%. 16% of 100% of that 45%.
It's a lot of math.
Keep up with me.
There.
Yeah. Can actually accurately define what socialism is.
Yeah.
Okay. To shine a spotlight on socialism in the work environment, we can look at an example that we actually mentioned in passing in last week's episode.
Yeah, the pizza place.
Yeah. So a Boston area pizza shop attempted to operate by raising the wages of its workers far above the normal working rate, and the result was it closed down.
It's okay.
Spoiler alert.
Time out.
Oh, man, I'm horrible with these spoilers. I should have saved it.
Time out. I love how much joy we get out of the failure of these people.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to vegans dying climbing mountains.
Listen, again, okay, let's go back to that. I apologize.
Yeah, I know.
I apologize that I'm laughing at the deaths of this vegan.
As you're laughing.
I apologize about the death of the vegan and laughing at it. That's not really what I'm laughing at.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at the audacity that woman had to say that vegans can do whatever the rest of us can do and more. And we said, like, what's the and more?
We can only climb a mountain. They climb a mountain and die.
And die. That was what I said in the podcast. So, and more die?
Oh, God.
No, they're able to climb the mountain and just keep on going up.
Yeah.
Well, depends on their faith.
Yeah, it depends.
When they died. But no, it was the audacity of what she was saying in that. And we were just laughing at the Madagascar Black Death.
That's different. I'll laugh at that all day long.
Listen.
We're not laughing at the people who died. We're laughing at their crazy ass family members, digging them up and dancing with them until they all get sick
and die and become one with the crowd.
Yeah.
I agree though. I don't believe that pictures are enough. I want to see videos.
Yeah.
I want to see what kind of music these people are dancing to. You know, it always sucks when Stairway to Heaven comes. It's always a rush for who's going to get grandma this time.
Oh my God.
Anyway, listen, back to this. So a Boston area pizza shop attempted to operate by raising the wages of its workers far above the normal working rate, and the result was it closed down. In 2015, the nonprofit organization Haley House in the Roxbury neighborhood of Boston decided they would open Dudley Doe, which would function according to the nonprofit's ideas of economic justice and fair wages. But now Bing Broderick, who is the executive director for Haley House and obviously deserves to have a failing business with a name like Bing Broderick.
Bing. He's named after a failing search engine.
No wonder they couldn't find this place to get business. Admits the shop just couldn't make it in the capitalist world. The shop is losing money and posing a danger financially to its parent organization. So, micro scale of one business causing what's a financial danger to its parent organization.
Yep.
It's like the economy affecting a whole nation under socialism.
Sure. Yeah, I just watched a Ben Shapiro talk where he was describing socialism to a student who asked about it and everything like that. And he's like, listen, socialism or communism is something that works in small environments, but not in large ones. Basically, everyone's family is socialist. Mom and dad make money, they put it into a pot, it's distributed evenly for the family. Because the difference is, I like my wife. I don't know who the hell you are. I don't want to contribute to you. And that's what they start to deteriorate and fall apart. It's hilarious.
So the Boston Globe reports Luther Pinkney, a team leader at Dudley Doe, protested, "I don't think anyone is looking at it as a failure. It's an experiment, and some very good things came out of that, such as skill building for staff and being in this building at this time of gentrification and change in this community. Even with the $100,000 that Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, donated to Haley House, specifically for Dudley Doe, Dudley Doe sank." Or didn't rise to the occasion, obviously. The Globe notes, that was a dad joke. That was a good dad joke. I gotta be honest with you.
Man.
The Globe notes that 3 other restaurants opened in the area around the same time as Dudley Doe, and they're still operating. Which kind of goes to show you something.
Yeah. How funny is it that this whole place started based on a charitable contribution from a millionaire?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Robert Kraft. Now I know, what's his name? The Patriots coach.
Oh, Belichick.
Belichick. I know he's Republican.
Yeah. So is Kraft. He's friendly with Trump, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about Kraft. I think even Brady leans Republican.
Oh, Brady got all kinds of crap because he had a Make America Great Again hat in his locker, and then he doesn't talk about anything. He hasn't a lot of the sports shows give him crap all the time because he didn't want to, even comment on Colin Kaepernick or anything like that. It's, so ridiculous,
Yeah. Oh boy. Anyway, the website for Haley House boasted Dudley Doe seeks to challenge the status quo by pioneering a new model of worker empowerment in the restaurant industry, offering living wages and profit-sharing opportunities to help our workers overcome the economic disadvantages that are an unfortunate part of the current reality. They got a big dose of their own socialist reality right away.
Really?
I don't think it lasted too long. Did it say how long it was open? 2015. So I think it closed down this year. It didn't last 2 years. And socialism.
Yeah, I mean, these kids or millennials who 45% of them are rather, it doesn't take much to just Google, socialist countries and how they're doing, and even in the past, communist countries, and basically what the plight of the normal person was in these countries, why people wanted to leave these countries to come to places like America.
Those are great points.
It's just
also the thing is everyone that wants socialism wants a Swedish socialism, right? Not the Venezuelan socialism,
Yeah.
which Sanders did prop up for years.
Yeah.
And obviously you see what's happening now. They don't have food. They're killing stray animals and zoo
it's
animals
awful.
just to eat and survive,
Yeah.
right? And eating out of trash cans, like literally videos of them eating out of trash cans to
Yep.
survive, right? That's socialism, okay? That's an outlier to these people, right?
Yeah.
Cuba, Venezuela, like all these types of places are bad socialism examples. Sweden, Denmark, like these are good examples.
Yeah.
The problem is, what was the difference? How did these end up over here and how did these end up over here?
Don't make me say it.
Well, they're both socialism,
Yeah.
right? So go ahead, say it.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
It's a joke.
Go ahead, do it. Is it a dad joke?
It's not a dad joke.
Oh, go ahead.
It's
No,
a bad
I wanna hear it.
joke.
Go ahead.
Those are all white people.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't want to say it.
Veins are popping.
It's just a joke. It's just a joke.
How do I even respond to that? Because I honestly don't know the answer. But here's the other thing too: when you look at socialist countries, right? There's ones that are failing, obviously, and you can't distinguish what the difference. Well, maybe you can between them and the other ones that are supposedly succeeding, right? But you're also looking at small countries, small. Is essentially, when you're comparing them to the United States, petri dish samplings of socialism, right? To switch something like the United States over to a socialist model, they're gonna end up with everything that's bad from socialism being pushed through.
The reason I even thought of that joke was I had heard someone debating or at least criticizing Bernie Sanders in a way of saying that, like, you want to, like, they were basically like backhandedly calling him a white supremacist or racist because he wants our country to model countries that are like over like 90% white. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's kind of where it came from. That like, okay, how do you think our melting pot, and you want diversity and you want everything, but you want us to be like all these countries that are predominantly white. You know what I mean? How's that going to work? You know?
And not only that, have you heard his speaking? Some people are going to argue that this was a difference in time, right? But him talking about breadlines?
No.
You never heard that?
No.
He literally praised countries that have breadlines because that shows that the people want the food.
You know, it's funny, sometimes American journalists talk about how bad a country is because people are lining up for food. That's a good thing. In other countries, people don't line up for food. The rich get the food and the poor starve to death.
People want to eat. Isn't that great?
Yeah. That there's a demand there or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it was horrible. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, so with November elections coming up quickly, there's certainly an abundance of political attack ads out there.
Oh my
God. But one that is making the rounds takes the cake for the most disgusting piece of propaganda possibly ever put out there in American politics. And donors are responding in kind. A progressive political organization called Latino Victory Fund released an inflammatory ad targeting Ed Gillespie. The ad featured a white man driving a Ford pickup truck bearing a Gillespie bumper sticker and license plates reading, "Don't tread on me." In the video, the vehicle's driver drove the truck directly at a group of fleeing minority children. So let's take a look at that real quick.
Yep. And the Confederate flag, too. Waving.
Yep.
Is this what Donald Trump and Ed Gillespie mean by the American dream? Latino Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Unbelievable. Disgusting piece of trash organization.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So in essence, first of all, there's so many implied things in this video. Obviously, he's chasing down minority kids. Anyone who has a "don't tread on me" thing is a racist. The Confederate flag is waving, which
we've talked about that.
We've talked about that. We're not for the Confederate flag as it is, but they put the Gillespie bumper sticker on the truck as an outright calling him a racist, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the minority kids, obviously, and then at the end of the commercial, it shows the parents watching the TV of the Charlottesville incident with the tiki torches being carried around, essentially saying those neo-Nazis represent Gillespie and all the people that would vote for him.
And is this what Donald Trump
and Donald Trump and everyone that voted for him.
Yep. Yeah, it's awful. I mean, first off, when you take into account what happened in New York City, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
You gotta switch the Muslim kid with the white guy, and then you have a more accurate representation of what's going on in the world. Because the other thing that I've seen too that they've shown on the news is just a map with all of the times that radical Islamic terrorists have used vehicles as their weapon of choice. This is happening more and more and more, and it's like
it's the most unpreventable thing.
Yeah, totally. So, but we don't see we don't see the Democrats coming out and saying we got to ban cars.
No, as a
we
matter
need
of
common
fact,
sense car control.
First of all, in this video, apparently all these kids are having the same dream at the same time.
Yeah.
And
they're the dreamers.
And I didn't and I didn't know this. And this is just my cultural ignorance, but I didn't know that women wear burqas to bed in Muslim cultures.
Who knows?
I don't know. But that's what the video shows. Kid waking up with a burqa in perfect condition on her. You know what I mean? So, by the way, this ad has had a devastating effect down there on the person that they were actually trying to run the ad for.
That's wonderful.
The donations to Gillespie have tripled.
Is that election on the 7th as well? Is it the same as up here? I can't wait to see those results. Just see how that turns out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll give you an update. So, okay, you're ready for this one.
Yeah.
We're getting into the good stuff here. In another story from the Daily Wire, former DNC head admits that Obama cleaned out the party, Hillary stole it, and Bernie got robbed. Former Democratic National Committee head Donna Brazile is coming out with a new tell-all book about the chaos at the DNC during the 2016 campaign. And on Thursday, she revealed a section of it at Politico. What emerges from the excerpt is a picture of Brazile as a heroine and Hillary Clinton as a villainess, Debbie Wasserman Schultz as incompetent and lazy, and Barack Obama as the unnamed cancer that ate away at the center of the party. So let's go over to what exactly happened here, okay? Brazile is alleging, which is probably true, that Obama bankrupted the DNC. Socialism. Again, you know. That's what happens when you take from the piggy bank.
Thought it was my piggy bank.
Yeah. I thought I could reach in there. Yeah. Well, got my hand snapped.
It's a Democratic convention. Yeah. I'm the head of the Democrats. I figured it was all mine anyway.
So he bankrupted it. What ended up happening is before the primaries,
August 2015,
Hillary Clinton came in and funded it herself through the Clinton Foundation or something like that. The Clintons funded it.
They not out of the kindness of her own heart.
No.
She expected something in return.
Absolutely. The Clintons put out money to prop up the DNC and get them back on track under conditions, like you said, being she had full control over who was running what, staffing and everything else, right?
strategies.
So, the writing
and
was...
the money.
Yeah.
The money.
So the writing was on the wall for Bernie already. He was not going to get the nomination.
The writing was on the Starbucks cups.
Yeah. But not only that, we talked generally about how the DNC was colluding with Hillary the whole time and pushing out Bernie, even though he seemed to be the popular one. Now, Hillary Clinton, in all fairness, won the popular vote in the primaries by about 4 million votes. So really, she was going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
But the problem is, we have a bunch of people on the left that are talking all the time about the corruption, which we'll get to, of Trump and Russia and the collusion there, right? Yet they don't take the whatever from their own eye, right? Yeah. Which is, they don't talk or get pissed off about the fact that the DNC and Hillary were not only colluding with each other, she outright bought the DNC and ran it, right? And on top of that, what's rarely talked about is this whole superdelegate thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which, no matter how the citizens vote, Democrats, if all the Democrats vote for one person but the superdelegates pick the other person, doesn't matter a bit what the citizens vote for. The superdelegates get to pick whatever they want.
Yep.
So that whole Democrat situation is corrupt to the core and works against the favor of the voters for that party.
And then you had the wet poodle, Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Yeah.
Leading up to before she got ousted, she was asked on TV multiple times, is this corrupt? What's going on? And she's like, no, not at all. We're running a non-biased committee, all this stuff. And the thing is, and Jimmy Dore brought this up, was that she's not lying to Republicans. She's not lying to politicians. She's lying to the Democrats. She's lying to her friends. She's the people that they're trying to get support from. That's who she's lying to. Because they're trying to lead things into Hillary's lap,
I made a mistake.
What's that?
Jumping back to the previous political ad.
Yeah.
I said burqa. It was a hijab.
Oh.
So I was jumping the gun on that.
Gotcha.
No pun intended.
Correction has been made.
Correction has been made. So I got a message from someone. We'll take a look at that in a second here. Okay, so things of importance to note from this, according to the Daily Wire. Wasserman Schultz was a disaster who turned over the party to Hillary. And Brazil said, my predecessor, Florida Rep. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, had not been the most active chair in fundraising at a time when President Barack Obama's neglect and had left the party in significant debt. As Hillary's campaign gained momentum, she resolved the party's debt and put it on a starvation diet. It had become dependent on her campaign for survival, for which she expected to wield control of its operations. And according to Brazil, Wasserman Schultz outsourced all operations of the party to Hillary's headquarters in 2015, long before the start of the primaries.
Yeah, everything came out of Brooklyn, where her headquarters were.
So Justin said, is the woman writing this book coming out a Democrat? Well, Donna Brazile ran the DNC.
Yeah, she was a total Democrat.
Yeah, she's a big Democrat.
She worked on Al Gore's campaign in 2000 or whenever it was. And also she was a CNN contributor that was also got fired for leaking questions to Hillary Clinton when she was debating CNN, right? When she was debating Bernie Sanders, which that brings out a whole nother part of this story.
Yes.
Why is Donna Brazile writing this?
Yeah.
It's to cover her own ass.
Yeah, true.
It is to cover her own ass because she sees, okay, there's all this stuff with the Hillary and Russia. Hillary lost, Trump won. We're in shambles. Bernie and his ilk will probably be
it's the future of the party.
Future of the party.
Yeah. So if not a new party, if they keep on with this stuff.
And now she's writing this whole tell-all, and then she also puts in there at the end too how oh, we then called Bernie and told him and talked to him like she was Bernie's friend when she was screwing him in the debates when she was working for CNN. So this is all to cover herself. Like she's no innocent, whistleblower. Another thing someone on Jimmy Dore's show said, apparently, if you want transparency in politics, you just got to give everyone a book deal. Because when they get a book deal, that's when the truth comes out.
Oh, yeah,
but if there's no money to be made, then everything's kept pretty close to the vest.
So in more things that were pointed out here, she said Obama cleaned out the party. Brazil wrote that by the time she took over, the Democratic Party was broke and $2 million in debt. According to Brazil, Obama left the party $24 million in debt, and his campaign wouldn't pay off that debt until election year. Furthermore, Wasserman Schultz had grown staff and allowed the DNC to pick up the check for the Obama consultants. So, to me, surface level stuff that what she's saying there is actually a lot worse than what she's what she's saying is the outright truth is it seems like Obama had the same type of control over the DNC as Hillary does. He left it in debt. He didn't care, and they were going to do
he left the country $19 trillion in debt. What's $24 million to his own committee?
Yeah. Chump change.
Drop in the bucket.
Chump change. And I didn't say chump.
Yeah.
Trump change.
Trump change.
So the other one is that Hillary ran the party. Hillary used that debt to pick up power. They pledged to fill in the funding gap for the DNC so long as they got to run operations. Gary Gensler, CFO of the Hillary campaign, apparently described the party as fully under the control of Hillary's campaign, which seemed to confirm the suspicions of Bernie's camp. The campaign had the DNC on life support, giving it money every month to meet its basic expenses, while the campaign was using the party as fundraising clearinghouse, which we kind of already hit upon. Hillary essentially laundered campaign money through the DNC.
Yeah, the best part of this at the end, I don't know if you mentioned this, but when Donna Brazile is like, now, none of this was illegal, but it definitely seems unethical. Yeah. Really?
So,
wow,
yeah.
Really?
Color me shocked. Color me shocked Starbucks.
How is this not illegal?
Yeah.
What kind of laws are protecting these politicians? You
They
mentioned it earlier, too, about how politicians in Hollywood, when they do something wrong, it's like, I got to go to counseling. Instead of a normal person would go to jail. And probably be added to the rape population. So it's just, another thing that I had heard was in regards to when Hillary and her Russia ties about basically paying the Podesta, John Podesta's brother, they funded this op-ed on Trump by hiring British spies and stuff like that. Okay.
Russian spies.
Yeah. It basically was coming out of the Kremlin, and one of the things they did was they didn't declare themselves foreign agents, which is against the law.
Yeah.
But they basically were just said, we're sorry, we'll do it now.
Yeah.
Like any normal person would get a free
Trump
pass.
Jr. do that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm disclosing right now that I went to see her, so we're okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't do it then. I'll do it from now on. We're good.
Yeah. Just look at the camera.
Yeah.
We're good?
We're good from now on. I got you.
No, it's more of a question for Trump.
Yeah.
We're good? We're good. Okay.
Right.
I don't hear anything. So, Hillary raised an enormous amount of money for the DNC, but virtually all the money went to Hillary's campaign. Less than half of 1% of all money Hillary raised from her fundraisers went to the states. Brazil said, when the Politico story described this arrangement as essentially money laundering for the Clinton campaign, Hillary's people were outraged at being accused of doing something shady. They should be outraged when they're accused of doing something by the books, because that's something new to them. Yeah. I mean, my word.
Yeah.
Bernie's people were angry for their own reasons, saying this was part of a calculated strategy to throw the nomination to Hillary. No, he's wrong. It wasn't a calculated strategy to throw the election to Hillary. It was Hillary. This was Hillary. It's not to throw it to herself. She's just controlling it.
Yeah. This is her campaign.
Taking it.
The DNC was part of her campaign staff.
Oh, my gosh.
Pretty much.
So in the regards to Bernie getting robbed, the party ran an adjunct to the Hillary campaign long before the primaries, meaning that Bernie was at a severe disadvantage. And Brazil said the funding arrangement with HFA and the Victory Fund agreement was not illegal.
I love the Victory Fund.
Yeah.
How pompous can you be? Hillary Victory Fund.
It was not illegal, but it sure looked unethical. This is what you were talking about. If the fight had been fair, one campaign would not have control of the party before the voters had decided which one they wanted to lead. Now, again, where the heck is Brazil in regards to the superdelegates then?
The whole thing's corrupt.
Brazil and everyone else sees Bernie as the future of the party. Sanders may have lost the battle, but he won the war. If he'd won the nomination, he may have lost to Trump. But in losing to Clinton, he stamped himself as a fallen hero. Now he looks like an anti-corruption fighter who was willing to take the hit in order to defeat Trump. Since Brazil writes that he was a good soldier even after finding out the DNC cheated him. By the way, did you watch the DNC convention?
I watched some of it. Yeah, when you see Bernie sitting in the stands.
And she thanks him.
Oh my God, that's the most gut-wrenching stuff you've ever seen.
He had such a look of disgust.
And then he had to go up and support her. I mean, this is like...
you know that the DNC made him do that.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you want to be any part of this organization, you need to save face and do this. No way. I would not have done it. Absolutely not.
Yep. And that's why people like Dorr are saying just forget the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is dying and just do your own thing,
Yeah, but here's my question. How is Bernie the future of the party when he doesn't have much of a future left to him? I mean, come on. He's going to be on strings. He's the future of the party.
Hey, if you're in Madagascar, you still have plenty of a future even after you die. Your party
rages on, man. I never had so much fun as I did when I was dead.
Yep. Not a care in the world.
No one danced with me when I was alive. But I'm the favorite at the party.
Yeah, the life of the
party. Lifeless of the party in this case. Dad joke.
Yeah.
So,
oh man.
All right, so speaking of Hillary, she defended paying for the Steele dossier into Trump and says that it's not the same as working with Russians to influence the election. So Hillary Clinton showed up on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah when he asked about the dossier, and Clinton defended herself, saying, of course, there is a difference between paying for that information and colluding with Russia to influence the election. And she described the dossier as opposition research and pointed out that it was not made public during the campaign. However, she said the public should have known the FBI started investigating Trump's ties to Russia in summer of last year, 2016. So let's go over exactly what happened here. The difference, okay?
Yep.
Which one do you want to hit first, Trump or Clinton?
Let's do Trump first.
Okay, so Trump's son gets information, a call or an email or something like that from someone in Russia saying, we have some dirt on Hillary that we want to talk to you about. Can you meet up with us? He meets with a Russian lawyer, and there's some other Russian shady dude in the back sitting there too. They go to this meeting, and instead of talking about dirt on Hillary, she starts talking about the adoption process for adopting Russians into America, and gives absolutely nothing on Hillary. Okay,
she's basically just going over the whole mail-order bride industry.
It's a complete bust, right? Yeah. Trump Jr. gets in a lot of trouble for trying to collude with Russia on this, right? To find dirt on Hillary and working with the Russians to take her down in the election. That's what happened.
Yep.
It was a failure. No information was given. Let's go over to Hillary. So, was it the DNC that paid for the dossier?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, yes, the DNC paid Fusion GPS, which I think is the Russian organization, right? To find dirt on Trump, right? They started the process, found dirt, and then it wasn't the right kind of dirt that they wanted, so they gave up on it. And Hillary continued paying for that dirt while she was Secretary of State, and then took the dirt that she got after that and gave it to the FBI to start this investigation into Trump. Okay? So she not only worked with the Russians, but actually got information from the Russians and then used the FBI as one of her tools to go against Trump. And leaked this information into the media to spotlight this and throw Trump under the bus, essentially, as a political opponent and work against him, right? So we have one person who did all this stuff and succeeded and used the government as a tool, as a weapon against a political opponent. And you have a guy who went to a Russian meeting that ended up being absolutely nothing and a failure. And we're supposed to believe that the Trump-Russia connection is actually the worst one. You know?
She's right. They're not the same.
They're not the same. Now,
hers is way worse, and we're not even talking about uranium one.
Exactly. That's a whole other thing. So, and that's Russia-based too.
Yes, giving Russia basically 20% of the U.S.'s uranium reserves.
And where'd that money go?
The Clinton Foundation, baby. The Clinton piggy bank.
Unbelievable. So, this woman, the Clintons profited off of material that's used in nuclear weapons that would, if used, be most likely used against our people, her people, and made money off of the sale of it to the enemy.
It makes me think back to the election and how, unfortunately politics have gotten to this point within many of the past elections, but people basically saying they're choosing between the lesser of two evils, right? So you have Hillary and Donald, and you're going down the list of what makes them evil, and you got to choose the lesser of two. You got everything that Hillary's done, and then Trump 11 years ago said he liked to grab women by the vaginas. Which is the lesser? Oh man, that Trump, he's the worst.
Justin said on here, I love burkas. To each his own, I guess. That's the count. Oh, there's the count. Yeah, she was making fun of my laugh. Okay, so you have all these Russia connections, right? Now, this is also not the first time that Hillary has used the FBI as her political tool against people either. Do you know when else she has done that?
No.
She used the FBI to dig up information and dirt on the people that accused Bill of rape and sexual harassment, and use that against the victims to silence them.
The champion of women, Hillary Clinton.
The one who said that all victims should be believed. Which is actually a bad saying. It doesn't. It sounds horrible to say that you shouldn't. Why wouldn't you believe the victims? No, you should take them seriously. You know what I mean? Like
if you are basically saying all victims should be believed at the first sign of their claims, then you're saying that you don't believe in innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly.
So Hillary, the champion of women. Not surprised by that at all.
So speaking of Donald Trump Jr., he used an old Halloween Democrat joke in a tweet to absolutely troll his family's liberal haters. On Tuesday, Donald Trump Jr. issued a tweet about his daughter Chloe's candy stash from Halloween and took the opportunity to rip socialism. And sure enough, famous leftists across the board emerged from their cocoons to savagely attack him as he trolled them into insanity. They said, Trump Jr.'s tweet said, "I'm going to take half of Chloe's candy tonight and give it to some kid who sat at home. It's never too early to teach her about socialism." So one writer, Jesse Berney, Bearny, tweeted, "She was given that candy for free. Halloween is already socialism, you malignant potato." To which conservative actor James Wood, who, if you don't follow on Twitter, you got to follow him on Twitter, laid the smackdown with a response that said, actually, being given something is charity. Being forced by government to give something is socialism. So writer J.K. Rowling also tweeted, "Fill her bucket with old candy left by her great-grandfather, then explain that she has more because she's smarter than all the other kids." What? Like, I understand. Like, at first I'm like, okay, she's going down the road of all that candy was inherited, and
Yeah.
she doesn't really deserve it and everything. But then tell her you have more because you're smarter than the other kids. What? Well, I honestly don't understand where that fits in. But I'll tell you what.
Dad joke incoming.
No. It's the fact that one of the big topics this week in regards to the tax plan and everything is the death tax or the estate tax, right? Which is that, like, if you're wealthy, really wealthy, when you die, basically half your stuff is supposed to be given to the government, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're unable to pass along a business because the taxes alone on that business and the death tax would sink your kids. Like, they'd have to sell their home and everything. You know? I mean, it's ridiculous that I've heard that you're double taxed when you're death taxed, but it's more than that.
Yeah, it's more.
Way more than that.
I mean,
you're taxed on your income to get the money. Mm-hmm. Then whatever you spend that money on, you get the sales tax on. And then if you want to pass that along when you die, you get taxed again. You're at least triple taxed.
Yeah, that same money is just being taxed over and over again. Yeah. And for what? Like, the thing I'll listen to, I always go back to is, like, what is the government doing with our money that is better than what we would do with our money?
Oh, they can't answer that.
No.
Because it's all on BS.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, it's like, you know, you cut taxes and the left freaks out. Like, oh, we can't afford that. Look at the debt we're in already. Yeah, get the spending under control. Yeah. That's the main problem. Like, actually, the Republicans should have attacked spending first. Give a little shout out to Calvin Coolidge, who was the man of all presidents, who, when he took over for President Harding cut the budget. Do you know this? Cut the budget by like 65%. Imagine 65%. We can't cut it by 1% now. He cut it by 65%, and the next year he died. Harding died, right? Of a heart attack, massive heart attack or something. Coolidge took over and cut the budget again the next year. You know how much he cut it by? 50%. Wow. 65% one year, 50% the next year. Yeah. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what led to the Roaring 20s. All those cuts. So anyway, my point being, in regards to inheritance and everything, like, J.K. Rowling is basically trying to make you feel bad for earning something and passing it along to your kids, and that one of, if not both, of those parties in that situation are evil because of she believes it's unearned.
Yeah.
Like, woman, give me a break. I don't know if J.K. Rowling has kids, but I'm sure she's going to be passing along some of her empire to them when she dies.
For sure. Yeah.
And the other point of the death tax is the people that are truly that wealthy that the death tax applies to, they find loopholes.
Yeah.
They put it into offshore accounts. They do not escrow, trust funds for kids and stuff like that. You know, or they pay it off, they pay their kids off, you know, slowly before they die or something. You know, they find other ways because that tax is immoral.
Yeah, totally.
It's so immoral. It's unbelievable. So let's go into... I didn't write too much on the terrorist attack in New York City. I was actually working, and I didn't hear about it until I got in that night to a hotel I was staying at.
Yeah.
But, man, these details are flooding out, and it's exact opposite of some of the other more recent events, too, as well. And so this guy, radical Islamist, right, rents a truck from Jersey, a Home Depot truck, and he literally had been planning this for 2 months. He specifically looked up the path that he took and how busy it was on Halloween because he wanted to make a statement by killing kids. Okay? So this was in his mind.
Yep.
His original intention was a longer route and a longer killing spree.
Yep.
Right? And I guess he ended up hitting a bus or something like that.
Yeah. He did something. It crashed, and then he left the vehicle and was running around with, toy guns, basically trying to get killed by cop, you know?
Yeah, and thankfully that didn't happen. They actually shot him and brought him to the hospital. and he is he shouted Allahu Akbar, right? And like this is very clearly terrorism, you know, and even de Blasio, of all people, said that this was an act of terrorism and an attack on our way of life, right? Now, here's what's interesting about this whole situation. I'm seeing liberals online, specifically within my circle of friends, not my friends specifically, but friends of friends, that are commenting on some of my other friends' posts where they're saying, well, how could you rail, because Trump pushed his immigration further again. He's like, listen, this is the stuff that happens, you know? So all the left was in a tizzy over that and everything. And so he was pushing this immigration. My one friend happened to say, yeah, this is what we should be doing. And they all said, how can you get all upset over this, but not over the Vegas shooting situation, and classify that as terrorism, right?
We just got to ask that kid in class.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. I am perturbed by this Vegas thing. The fact that we still don't have information on that is very unsettling to me.
Yeah.
There's no details on it. No clear motive or no clear storylines of how this all played out. I mean, with all the security camera footage in a casino, that we haven't seen this guy in just clips of him walking around the casino.
You got to figure Las Vegas is probably one of the most surveilled cities in the world. Yeah.
The fact that nothing's coming out on this is allowing the festering of conspiracy theories out there, right? And I'm partial to two right now. Until more information becomes clear. Number one, Jesus Campos, the hero security guard, I believe that he probably is an illegal alien. Not that I care. I think he should be able to stay after what happened and everything. But I think that one of the main cover-ups is to keep that fact hidden, that the hotel was unlawful in its hiring process, right? Now, this guy Jesus, according to security experts, did everything by the book. It was a casino, and their reaction that didn't do things by the book.
Yeah, we talked about that.
So this guy was actually
Ellen.
a smart guy, yeah. The other thing I'm thinking is that I'm thinking, and until I'm proven wrong, I'm going with this, there's probably evidence that this was a politically motivated attack by a leftist.
Yeah. That seems more plausible than anything.
Yeah, the fact that no information's coming out, the more days that pass by, Americans have such a short attention span that we're on to the next story. Obviously, this New York City attack and everything is the biggest news now. I don't hear people talking about Vegas anymore. That's how quick things go now. You know? But I am still of the mindset, I'm putting my stake in the ground. I need that information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous that it's been taking this long.
Yeah. And it's always funny to hear, like, people say, like, oh, well, you guys don't like it when we bring up gun control, but you're pushing your immigration laws, when the same thing can be said slightly differently, as opposed in the manner of, well, it's okay for you to bring up gun control. Why can't we bring up our immigration laws?
Yeah, seriously.
But the other difference, too, is I believe that immigration laws and tightening up the borders can have a positive effect on curbing, incidents like this, where there's really nothing that shows that stricter gun control laws will prevent shootings.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, these people break the law by their definition as a criminal. So making more laws, what's that going to do?
Yeah.
Aside from making law-abiding people, make it tougher for them.
Yeah, and again, this all goes back to the fact that the Muslim ban isn't even a Muslim ban. It's a ban on countries that harbor terrorists. And a more stringent vetting process.
Yeah, it was, and it's not even a ban. It's a temporary ban until a more stringent vetting process is developed. Yeah. So, I mean, how can it be a Muslim ban when it's got 7 countries or something like that? When there's like over almost 50 Muslim countries. If it was a Muslim ban, then it would ban all Muslim countries. But common sense doesn't apply.
No, never does. So. Republicans yesterday revealed the GOP Trump plan for cutting taxes. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it?
Well, I heard he did a speech a few weeks ago, so I don't know if what was announced yesterday is that vastly different.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that I like about it, and as far as lowering the corporate tax rates, basically is it still basically 3 brackets? Like individuals get this,
no.
Corporations get this. It's changed up now.
It was revealed yesterday or today that there's literally a hidden 4th tier at 46% that taxes the rich at 46%.
Okay. Yeah,
it's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's to sell it politically to the left
to gain support to pass it through.
Yeah.
So that they can put get a victory of getting something done.
Yeah, because they really, as much as I like some of the stuff that Trump is doing, they haven't accomplished that much.
No, because he's getting a lot of opposition from
his own party.
Yeah.
Oh, the fact that they couldn't do anything about Obamacare, which is the biggest economy killer that we have right now. Mm-hmm. Okay. It is killing businesses. And the fact that the only real accomplishment has been Neil Gorsuch as the Supreme Court Justice.
Which, luckily, that was my primary thing.
Yeah, that was why I voted for him. That was it. From there, it's gravy for me, man.
Yeah.
But that gravy train is slowing down.
Yeah.
At least it's not a gravy train.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Of course, I actually do the laugh even better when I do laugh. Okay, so let's go into what this tax plan includes. So a list was put together by the Daily Wire that you should pay attention to in the tax plan. Number 1, right off the bat, corporate tax rates are slashed dramatically. The proposal lowers the corporate tax rate from 35% to 20%. Now, if I remember correctly, Ireland is at like 13%.
Yeah.
We should have... We'll get to this later on my biggest criticism.
Wasn't he saying 15 during the campaign?
I think so. That would have been great. Mm-hmm. That would have been the best. Because I understand we're a big capitalist, world trader, blah blah blah, and everything, and that we should be up there. But 15 is freaking competitive, man. Yeah. Put us on the board at least.
Yeah.
Put me in the game, coach.
Yeah.
But I honestly think 20% is putting us in the game.
Yeah.
I really do. 35 to 20, that's awesome. It says that puts America in line with the UK rather than above virtually every other industrialized nation or country. We were the highest.
Yep.
The pass-through corporations will see their tax rates reduced from 39.6% to 25%. Now, individual tax rates change, but not by a big amount. Instead, the current 7-bracket system, the numbers of brackets is reduced to 4. High-income earners will earn a slight reprieve for income between $418,000 and $500,000. Earnings of between $200,000 and $500,000 will be taxed at 35%. Wait, did I say the other one? The high-income earners up to $500,000. Okay. So earners between $200,000 and $500,000 will be taxed at 35%. And those between $45,000 and $200,000 will be taxed at 25%. Anyone below $45,000, the income tax will be 12%, which is a huge drop-off.
Yep.
The bill also kills medical expense itemized deductions, as well as adoption and student loan interest. This will be the provision the Democrats choose to target if you have extraordinary health care costs. Some of these costs will no longer be deductible. The tax deductions for adoption and student loan interest also go away. That kind of sucks, actually. Student loan stuff, that does suck. But tax deductions on adoptions, we should be doing... The other end of the problem of abortion industry is that we have an adoption industry problem, which is incredibly tedious and expensive to adopt someone.
Yeah.
And the longer it goes, the more of those kids pile up in the system.
Yeah.
And, people, the opposition to our argument is, well, why don't you adopt? If you're so pro-life, why don't you adopt? Because, well, number one, the process is ridiculous to get through. I know people that have been trying to adopt for years that have been on a list, you know? It's not that easy. So that's an industry that needs to be fixed, and the fact that we're getting rid of a tax exemption or deduction that essentially...
it's some kind of relief.
Yeah, that's not good. The bill limits mortgage deductions. The bill would reduce the amount of mortgage interest deducted available from loans up to $1 million to loans up to $500,000. This will particularly smash people who live in high real estate value areas, which just happen to be blue overall, like as far as liberal areas, cities. You know, $500,000 out here where I live will get you a dang nice house. It'll get you a real nice house. It'll get you a mansion. Yeah. But in New York City,
you get a little one-bedroom apartment closet.
It is bad. It's real bad. Yeah. So $500,000, it sounds like a lot, but that is relative to where you live. You know. Executive compensation becomes less deductible. As the Wall Street Journal pointed out, businesses would lose the ability to deduct certain executive compensation above $1 million, which they can now do for performance-based pay. That means that bonuses are no longer deductible for CEO, CFO, and the 3 other highest paid employees at a company. I don't like that. But then again, like... I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because, like, everyone should be able to have the same kind of deductions. I believe in regards to. See, I'm talking about fair treatment, and that's very liberal of me. But you know, in a company, why wouldn't everybody be able to deduct? You know, I don't know why that's there in the first place. But to be honest with you, liberals should love this one. Because all they hate rich people and the top CEOs that have the golden parachutes.
And they give themselves bonuses, so they're saying the bonuses aren't deductible.
Exactly.
And, you know, that's not, I feel like that, thinking that everyone should have to play by the same rules, if that is considered a liberal trait, that's if you're going to, you know, agree with some things on the other side, that's not a bad one to agree on.
Exactly. Yeah. You know? The tax reform package repeals the so-called Johnson Amendment. The Johnson Amendment penalizes 501c3 religious organizations for supposed electioneering. Now the law will allow religious organizations to speak politically, assuming the speech is in the ordinary course of the organization's business and its expenses are de minimis. Obviously.
De minimis.
I don't know the ins and outs of that because I don't know the ins and outs of how religious organizations take part in those things and what those how that all works, to be honest with you. So I don't even have a comment on it.
Yeah.
The child tax credit actually increases some. So Republicans actually wanted the tax credit increased to $1,800. The bill increases it to $1,600. The House bill also creates a $300 tax credit for non-child dependents, but those are phased out in 2022. So when they say those are phased out, are they talking about just the one for the non-child dependents or the $1,600 child?
Sounded like the way you read it sounded like the non-child dependents.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I mean, $1,600 per kid. Liberals should love that too.
Yeah,
you know. Like, listen, if you're smart enough to budget correctly, which I'm not, my wife does. I'll honestly admit that. But I mean, look, if you have 2 kids, right, and you need to pay for daycare, you should be putting aside that money for that purpose.
Yep.
You know, that's a huge expense.
Yeah, for sure.
Daycare or, you know, education, preschool or wherever you have to take them.
About $600 a month.
Yeah,
I could tell you.
So, what's my favorite part about this? My favorite part, and I think the best part of this, is the corporate tax rate.
Yeah,
puts us on the field. We're the players. We get back into the game. We are losing and bleeding out businesses and corporations because we are losing the ability to compete on the international stage against countries that give tax breaks to those companies. And what the left doesn't want to do is look at the big picture and the deeper picture, right? It's always surface level stuff. Like, oh, these corporations are evil because they make so much money and they don't pay taxes or something like that. They don't want to look at the fact that if we can keep those organizations here or incentivize through lower tax rates other businesses around the world to come into this country and set up shop here, more Americans not only get jobs, but you add to the taxpayer base.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what the business is paying in taxes, you are adding more tax revenue to the system.
And you're also removing people that are depending on the system.
Exactly.
So it's like a double whammy.
Yes.
You know?
It's so good.
Yeah.
So I think this is the best part, is lowering the corporate tax rate. And I'll get to the bad part of that, though, in the next part here. But
one thing he didn't mention that I know he brought up in his speech about the tax plan was individuals pay 0 on the first $12,000 they earn, and families on the first $24,000 they earn. Is that still in there?
Not according to one of the points that the Daily Wire pointed out.
Okay, that's something that
there's still. I mean, they didn't even point out the 45% tax rate for that was a hidden fourth bracket either.
Yeah.
So my favorite is the corporate tax rate. What I don't like about this. What I don't like about this is the same thing that I don't like about everything that they've been trying to do so far with Obamacare and everything else, is the fact that they don't take a page from Trump's own book, The Art of the Deal, which is if you want to do something, you ask for so much more than that, that it becomes absolutely crazy. And when you go through the negotiating process, you end up back where you actually wanted it to be, that you get it, right?
Yep.
They're starting off where it's semi-acceptable to end up at. So that means we're not going to get this.
Yeah.
We're not going to get this. The corporate tax rate, I believe, is probably going to be closer to 27%.
Yeah.
That's going to be my guess, right?
From 30...
20.
No, but...
from 39.
39 now.
Yeah. So I'm guessing we're going to end up around 25, 27 because they didn't negotiate this properly.
Yeah.
They didn't ask for the best possible
They should have started
solutions.
at 15 or 10.
They should have 10. Yeah. They should have started at 10. They should have started at 5, to be honest with you. You want to be as extreme as possible because in the negotiation process, you want to come in that way. You know? So that's what I don't like about it is they never go to the extreme to negotiate back to where they actually want to end up. They go for what they think the Democrats are going to vote for, which is going to go through a process where it gets watered down even more. And I can't believe how stupid this is. And to be honest with you, I think they realize that. I think that they're doing it on purpose. And I don't think they really care.
Yeah.
I think that these Republicans that we have in office are just as bad as the Democrats that we have in office.
Yep.
So what do you like about it and what don't you like about it?
Well, the corporate tax rate, definitely, if it was to stick at that rate, because like we were saying, it just makes sense when you think about what happens when we lower and allow business to come back in. Everything about it makes sense. I like the child tax credits are cool.
Then when you have 3.
Yeah. Right? The one thing, though, that a lot of stuff that seemed like it was being cut, I don't remember exactly. We mentioned it towards the beginning, but it seems like it's being offset by the lower tax bracket. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So you're kind of probably marginally coming out a little bit better than before, but not as much as it seems like when you just look at, the tax bracket's going down from this to this.
Yeah.
But everything else you're losing on the mortgage, what was the other one that you said? Right before the mortgage, a credit that you'd be losing. Oh, student loans.
Yeah.
Student loan credits. So you're losing all this stuff. So your tax bracket's coming down, but all this stuff is making it go back up a little bit, and you're going to meet somewhere in the middle, you know?
And not only that, this is just the House.
Yeah.
This isn't the Senate getting involved.
Yeah.
And negotiations and all that stuff. And plus, we need all of the Republicans, including Susan Collins, who has said that she is not going to vote for it as it stands.
Yeah.
So I have no hope for this.
Yep.
Susan Collins needs to go. She's not a Republican. She's a Democrat. And the fact that I think is she Massachusetts or something like that?
I don't know.
Horrible. You need to get rid of her, whoever she's with. So it's just ridiculous. So anything else that you have going on at all?
No, just got to set up when we're going to do the movie reviews. You know.
Yeah, we got to get to that. I need to.
I've heard that Justice League is getting some positive feedback from the early audiences that are seeing it overseas.
Okay.
And I really like the one line in the... Have you seen any of the trailers or any of the recent ones?
Yeah.
I love the one line the Flash has. Was like, seems like you guys are getting ready to do battle.
Yeah.
I don't do battle. I just push people and run away.
I hope they can pull off Barry Allen because the show...
It looks good.
The TV show is fantastic.
And I'm behind on everything. All the DC shows I'm behind on.
I'm behind on Arrow.
Yeah. I'm behind on all of them. Except for Gotham.
Okay, I'm way behind on Gotham. I think I'm back in when the blonde chick was on, his love interest.
Yeah, she's still there, but
is she?
Yeah, but
because she has her own show as a mutant
changed
now, an X-Men person.
Oh, she's got one of the.
She's on The Gifted.
The Gifted, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, but so I still have hopes. But there was a new little trailer for Star Wars too. Did you see that one?
Yes, I did.
It was cool. Luke walks into the Millennium Falcon, and all the lights come on, and everything. It's that's pretty sweet. So yeah. So just. Did
you watch all of Stranger Things too?
Nope, I haven't even started yet. Tracy finished it.
It's great.
Started without me. Annoying.
I'm noticing my freaking laugh more and more. Oh man.
So no, I gotta get on that because I love.
If you haven't watched Stranger Things season 1, you gotta watch season 1.
I heard season 2 is better.
It's
at least equivalent. You know,
it's great.
So good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
that's all. I'll leave it at that.
Caught up on the new season of Walking Dead? Have you been watching? Yeah. Pretty good. All Out War.
Yeah, that was the name of the series, right?
Yeah, that story arc.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not going the same way.
No.
But it was called All Out War.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay. We'll end with that.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight on the podcast. We actually had quite a few different people join in that I haven't seen join in before.
Yep.
The audience has been growing. We added a lot of new people this week, so I want to thank everyone that has tuned in that is new this week. I know some of them came over from the Relic Hunter firing line page, as I posted a picture with one of their firearms that they were selling there. I actually hope I told Gerard, the owner there, that I would love to go down and kind of feature a couple guns every now and then on my page as far as specialty guns that people may be interested in.
We don't just have to do movie reviews.
Yeah. I told him
some product reviews as well.
I told him I want to get out to the range with him and do some videos.
Yeah.
So
me too.
I'll tell you.
I want to go too.
Yeah. It's like candy store for adults. So hey, Gerard, the invitation's there. I hope that you can do that kind of stuff. Actually going back though, I want to thank everyone for joining in on the page, liking it. Some of the new people hopped onto the podcast tonight. I appreciate that, and the conversations that were started there. Even my liberal friend on the page, that's a fan. She was joining in with some things, so that was great as well.
Yep.
By the way, her question was, which one are you? I'm the one in blue. So, red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
So, listen, again, you can follow along on social media. You can watch on Facebook with the live stream. It depends. Sometimes we do it Thursdays. Sometimes we do it Fridays. And sometimes we even have done it on Saturdays in extreme situations.
Yep.
But you can find out when we actually do that by liking the Facebook page, hitting the get notifications button so you know when we go live. Down at the bottom you can see the address for the YouTube page. Just search for the Generation Y Conservative, hit subscribe, then the bell notification to be notified when we publish videos, whether they're podcasts or movie reviews or anything else that we do. You can follow me on Twitter and interact with me at Gen Y Conservative without the E on the end. And you can also find this podcast re-aired on Sundays from 3 to 6 p.m. on KLRN Internet Radio, where they have also graciously put me onto iTunes, which you can listen to while you're on the go, at work, or anywhere else. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you joining me. Until next week, have a great night, and God bless America.